Hey, welcome to my podcast. I'm Manina, and you are listening to an episode of Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. Hey y'all, welcome to Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. I have a new guest today, Kiana from KianaVision of YouTube. She's a YouTuber, a mother, teaches Aide, a hairstylist. She reached out to me on my page, just sending me good vibes, good comments. And I checked her page out, and she had something called a Black Content Corner, and it really just laid on my heart that it just made me feel good to see that. It's YouTubers of a smaller number or smaller views that are talented, that have a lot of things going on for them, and she just wanted to showcase them, and that was really awesome to me. So I just felt like I wanted somebody like her to be on my podcast. So Kiana, thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Thank you for having me. Yes, thank you. I appreciate what you're doing as well.
Thank you. So usually on my podcast, I have people just tell a little bit about their story and where they come from, a turning point in their life that just made them who they are, made them somebody who inspires for something more or aspires to something more.
I actually was born in New York, raised in Miami, and now I live in Georgia. My family is Jamaican. I come from a Jamaican background, so it's like really, I wouldn't say strict, but kind of, strict. And my dad he was a rocker, so it was like he was a free spirit, but he was strict. So I always had, in my mind to do what makes you happy. But I feel like they never told me how to succeed. It was about happiness, but not about how to succeed in this world. Credit, the things you just need to know about. So I've always been a chaser of finding my happiness, and I think I get that from my dad. And then, my mother and my dad split. So that with my mother, that's the whole single mother story. I have 6 siblings, and she raised us all by herself, all girls. I have no brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 girls. So crowded house, just get lost in the mix. And she did the best she could. So you're just there. Like me and my sisters to this day are really close. We kind of raised each other. So that's what we've been doing. And throughout my life, especially going into my adulthood, I've had different struggles. So like I said, when I had my kids, I was 23. My daughter, I got pregnant with her at 23. And I feel like starting there, I didn't make good choices because I was never told to make good choices, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't say I wasn't told. I just didn't have that 7 of us, so nobody was paying attention to me really. And not because they didn't want to, but, you make bad decisions. And from that point, I kind of continued to make bad decisions. My kid's father, he was a felon. He did 10 years. I met him, which if I had to do it again, probably wouldn't do that. But, he was he affected my life a lot. Let's just say that. So in being with him, I became homeless. We went through domestic violence issues. Like I said, I had 2 kids by him, and I just didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't ready. So all of that stuff in my life, I just pushed forward, but I didn't know what direction I was going in. A lot of major things happening, really sad things, really just a lot of things that just made me feel like I was just not present, empty, lost, didn't have nobody to talk to, and I kind of lived my life invisible like that. After a few years, I started to get my stuff together, and he passed. My children's father's passed. That took a big hit on me, because I was already doing things by myself, but I kind of was forced to get it together. And around that time, I started working in the school system, and my kids were more dependent on me, and we're starting to get our, life back. So that was the reason for me starting YouTube, was to kind of show, just for my kids to have something to look back onto, But just like you were stating earlier, for inspiration. Like, I know that there's a lot of women out there that kind of are single parents and, you know, they don't have the father in the household to raise the kids. It's a lot. And like I said, I had only sisters. I didn't know what to do with a boy. Still don't. He's here, you know. So I kind of just sharing that, all my mistakes. I'm just following God and seeing where He's gonna take me. And then I came on the Black Content Corner, not even thinking about it, but just networking, trying to grow my channel. And I kept seeing so many amazing people. Like, literally, I've been flabbergasted by some of the channels that I see and the subscriber count. And I'm like, it's not adding up. Like, why is nobody seeing? And it's very inspiring. Like, YouTube is just a great place. It can be. So, yeah, so I started the Black Content Corner. And since I started it, I've gotten great feedback. I feel like those were my genuine comments come from people thanking me, and they're not even the ones being featured, but just thanking me for inspiring them to kind of pay attention to people more. I've gotten those comments a lot, which mean a lot, because we tend to kind of not pay attention to each other. We kind of get lost in ourselves, and people seeing that I'm doing this has made them just reach out. Just a lot of people are just reaching out and just telling me how much it means to them for them to see it. So that just it's feeding me right now. And I'm not, that's all I'm getting out of it, but it's a lot. It's a lot for me right now. Like, I'm not interacting with people on this quarantine except for my kids. So it kind of is helping me stay a little sane, watching people's content and getting that feedback.
I know that feeling. I don't have anybody in the house but me, and
yeah.
It can be cuckoo, yeah. So,
it really can. It really can.
So it can make you cuckoo. And I have a friend who's like, I spoke to them. She's like, you're the only adult I spoke to in the past 2 months. Like, I'm these kids. So I can understand that notion too. You're in the house all day, and you're like, so it's an adult. I just, you know.
Seriously. Yeah. This quarantine is no joke. It's like major. It's like, what are we doing?
What is really going on here? And then all of the things that's going on during that don't even have anything to do with COVID is like, what is really, really going on? I don't
know.
They acting up in here, guys. Like, I know a lot of people had this same joke on Yelp. This is getting a bad review on Yelp. Like, it's ghetto. It's roaches. I don't like it here.
At all. Like, I'm just so ready to go back.
Do not recommend. For real, I do not recommend. Like,
I can't even believe I
do not come here.
If it just goes back to even remotely how it used to, I will not complain. I promise. I just want to go back to living. I do.
Right. I'm in New York City, and everything is not open yet. I know in a lot of places. Some places they opened up pretty quick. Now they got to shut back down, but the gym is not open. I'm out here like, just give me the gym. At least just give me the gym.
Yeah, my sister's up there in New York. She's saying like, yes, everything's shut down. And I'm in Georgia. The numbers went up here, so now they really got it on lockdown. They were pretty lenient at first, but now they're not playing right now. It's like people are kind of bucking the system, but they're not supposed to be out. But they are.
No, for real, they should stay home because a lot of people lost their lives, and it's not only about losing your life. It's the way you lose your life, and the people who are left behind in your family who have to deal with that. They can't even get your body back. They put you in mass graves. Like, that's not the way you want to go. You're in pain the whole time. You by yourself. The nurses can't even come in like that. It's not the way you want to go just so you can go have brunch. Stay home. Make it in the house.
Right. It's not worth it.
It's not, no. If you got to go to work, I understand, but you want to go out and feel normal, it's not going to feel normal the way that you're going to suffer from that COVID. It's no joke. And the people who are living, they're ending up with really, really bad breathing issues. They're finding that, the vessels to your lungs are callousing. People losing fingers and toes and that because of blood clots. Come on, man.
Yeah, I saw
that. Stay home.
I saw that. My daughter actually got diagnosed with it. But she was asymptomatic. She didn't have any symptoms at all. So,
Praise God.
and I'm like, how did you get it? We don't go nowhere. But she got it. I didn't get it. My son didn't get it, which is crazy because we're in the house together. They say it leaves your system after 10 days.
Right. So. They're also false positives. Right. They're also false positives too. Like I heard they're false negatives. I heard they're false positives too. Sometimes they do the test wrong. So prayerfully,
yeah.
You know, thankfully she's good. And, you know, it wasn't even so bad. So that's good. Yeah. So okay, you started your channel. You got that started. You're here to inspire. That's what my channel. That's why I started my channel. I started my channel because I actually had a tough one of the toughest things I've ever been through in my life, and that is I had a pregnancy and I got to 18 weeks in 5 days. And everybody who's been pregnant knows, like, that's far. You know, I got to 5 months and I went into labor, and I was pregnant with twins. So I went into labor, and 8 hours labor, I gave birth to them, and they couldn't survive outside of their body, so they didn't make it. And that was the hardest time ever. And like you said, I have been making bad decisions. I grew up where I am now, Harlem, but my father's from Africa, and he's from a very modest, very structured, moral culture. 100% Muslim country. He met my mother here. He came here, you know, to work like most immigrants do. He came here to work. He met my mother. She's from here. She's a Christian. So I wasn't brought up in a very strict Muslim home. It wasn't like that. But his morals and his standards stood the test, right? Right. Outside to go hang out. It was like, what you outside to do is to do what you have to do. Go to school. I played basketball from 8 years old until I went off to college. I wasn't like a starter or anything, but I played it to keep me busy and keep me moving. Go to basketball practice and come home. By that time, it's 6 o'clock. Kids think they outside playing on the weekend. That's a no for you. Like, you know. So I can identify with that, having, you know, those parents with the certain standards, and you're like, everybody's not doing that around me. This is kind of not fair, but it does pan out to be for the best. It does connect you when you get older. It's a lot of do as I say, but it connects you to this kind of self-love as you get older, because you're saying to yourself, no, I know I'm supposed to know better than this. I don't know how to know better, but I know I'm supposed to, so let me go and learn. Let me go learn about myself, learn who I am. So when I ended up pregnant, my father was like, I don't know who you think you are, but I didn't raise you like that. So best of luck to you, you know. And that was tough on me because I'm a daddy's girl. My mother, I lost my mother when I was 12 to breast cancer. So I'm a daddy's girl, you know. Now that dude, I was 26. You know, I didn't plan it, but I didn't put myself in a position to not get into that position. So I went through that, and then I started looking at YouTube as a pastime, as something that would just help me get through, because I was in a lot of pain emotionally, and I was just trying to find myself. And I just wanted something that was gonna let me not have to process sometimes. I'm an introvert. I always process things. I didn't want to have to process. I would dream and process what was going on. I would wake up, be trying to process. So I needed some downtime. So I started watching YouTube because also when you get pregnant, you know, after you have a baby, sometimes you lose hair. So I shed a lot of hair. I lost like almost a whole back of my head, and then I cut it off so it would grow back evenly. And so I watched the naturals. I've been natural all my life. I think I permed my hair like once in my life for like a bracket of 1.5 years. Will never do it again. That was the worst decision ever. My hair was always long and thick down my back, and then I did that, and my hair was here. How did So I just was trying to get back in the swing of it, trying to, you know. And then one day it just came to my mind, look up pregnancy loss. I was having a hard day. I felt like I was going through the loan, because people's answer was like, well, you know, you're young, you can have more kids. First of all, my 2 children that I gave birth to mattered. You know,
they matter. No, absolutely. Yeah. Right.
I saw what they looked like. I saw that my son looked like me. I saw that my daughter looked like, you know, the father's family. You know, so they matter. And even if I didn't see that, they were in my belly.
So you have to grieve. Yeah.
Exactly. So I felt like I was doing it alone. They didn't mean to hurt. You know, people don't mean to hurt. But, and then I saw all of these girls who were talking about their loss. And a lot of them, some of them were talking about a full blown pregnancy, full term, stillborn child, all those things, and I was like, wow, I'm not alone. I really did feel alone. I felt like it wasn't normal. I didn't have anybody to really help me get through that. And so I said to myself, I'm going to make a video. And I made a video myself about my own experience, and I put it up. And to this day, that was in 2014, to this day, people still leave messages like, I just lost my baby yesterday, or I just lost my baby too, and I was this amount, I was 16 weeks, or I was 18 weeks, and I don't know what to do, and I listened to your video, and it was really helpful, and how did you get past it? And I'm able to really be there for other women the way that I needed or wanted somebody to be there for me. So that's why I started my channel. Like I said, the Black Content Corner just spoke to me because of that, because it just melds so well with Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger. If you just do something, you step out and you just share your testimony in any kind of way, or share what you're going to make somebody's day, and you're going to change the trajectory of somebody's life with just that one video, with just being there for that one person in that time. I just also wanted to talk about self-love. So we stepped on that a little bit. I just wanted to talk about your relationship with self-love. And for women, I think it's so important for us to have it. We hold the standard. The way we're treated when it comes to relationships, in the workplace, especially women of color, black women. I can only speak for black women as a black woman. The way we're seen in society is either like, she's alright, she's strong, or she doesn't have the verbiage, the vocabulary to handle this situation. I'm not even going to bring her in here. She's just going to be angry. She's going to be aggressive. But the way that we have to learn to love ourselves is really deep. And I think it's something that a lot of women could really appreciate. A lot of black women can appreciate. Like, what are some tips on how to gain self-love for you? Like, maybe 2 or 3 that you might have from you, things that you've done to yourself and you really seen, this is proven well for me.
So one of the biggest tips that I'm doing right now is kind of just learning to spend time with myself, whether it's you just the smallest things, whether, clipping your fingernails, but making it like an event, doing a little facial at home, taking care of yourself. It leads to you feeling good about yourself. And that's not something that I had always done. And I mean, not just going out and paying somebody to do it, literally doing it yourself. It does something to me mentally. Like I'm putting lotion on me, and it's kind of therapeutic. So that is one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is my daughter, of course. Before I had her, I just didn't focus on my femininity, but I can see that she focuses on my femininity. And then I realized I focused on my mother's lack of femininity, having to be so strong. It inspires me to just continue to, just the small things, and like not yelling so much, not having to be the aggressor all the time. It really helps, because people will put you in that box and they think you're supposed to be there, and it's like, I'm not. I'm a dainty flower. So I try to stay there. But yeah, mostly my kids. My kids are kind of helping me with that, but it's still something that I'm working on. And recently, I cut every guy that I kind of ever talked to off. Not saying that is, every guy is just bad, but the guys in my life were kind of just not up to par, and they weren't helping me progress. And it's a hard thing to do, because if you're a little insecure, you want to keep on, you feel like you need that attention, but you really don't. It's just, everything passes. So if you just stay with yourself just a little bit past the uncomfortable point, you realize that you'll be okay. You don't need that company. So yeah, quarantine has kind of forced me to, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for just being able to say no. I'm not gonna see you today, because now they're not here.
Listen. I am writing a book on that on the self-love and how you treat yourself, and part of it is definitely cut out the not up to par folks. That's men, women, friends, all of that.
Yeah.
but especially those men.
Uh-huh.
They out here.
They can't
waste your time. 2020, 2019, 2018. All the years, okay? How to waste your time.
Right. Exactly. There's a saying, life begins outside of your comfort zone. It's just so true. Like, I feel like all 2020, this is my motto. Just try to say yes to things that are positive and things that you're comfortable with, but you know it's not so good. Try to let it go. And then growth will come. I've looked at some of my early videos on YouTube, and I've changed just in 6 months. Just, even now, I'm doing this thing where I'm wearing my natural hair, which is just, I just don't do. You will never catch me without a wig. And I'm doing it, and now it's something like it's been like a month, and I've been wearing it, and I'm okay with it, you know? And that's just something that I just wouldn't do. So I know I'm changing.
And it's about being intentional. It's about being, like you said, you take your you time. You're intentional about saying, I could go and pay for somebody to do this, but I'm gonna do it myself. I want to spend time with me. You have to be intentional. Focusing on your femininity. That is huge, especially for Black women. And it's not that we're not feminine at all. We're very feminine. We are lovely. We're loving. We're full of love. But we are put into a space where we have to take care of business. It's so funny because a man once asked me, he's like, what happened to some young women? Why are y'all so rough, sir?
Right. Right.
What else is rough?
They don't get it. I literally went to the grocery store, and this guy's like, I'm in the checkout line, and my groceries are getting ran up. And usually my son, he goes and he bags them for me. But my daughter ran over there, and the guy was already standing there to do it. And she went over and kind of just like disregarded him and started to do it. She gets that from me. And then the guy kind of got mad at her. And I'm just like, I can see how that's frustrating for men when they want to attempt to be chivalrous. But they got to understand it's not a choice. It's just what we used to doing, so you just kind of got to bear with us a little bit, and then we'll get it together, you know?
Right. And it's so crazy because what I had to say, I just told him it's not about us wanting to be rough. We have to fill in the gap, especially people who understand, who have a relationship with God or who read the Bible or things like that. We have to be sort of we have to intercede, especially when it comes to children. And if the father leaves the home, we have to intercede for our children. We have to be bold. We have to fill in that gap. And for women without children, we still have to fill in that gap. For there's other women who aren't quite there yet. They're still learning to love themselves. They're still learning to appreciate themselves. We have to fill in that gap. I hold the standard, so I have to hold you to a standard. So, sure. So I might seem aggressive, but what I'm doing is asserting my femininity, asserting what I deserve. And if you're not going to appreciate that, and you're not going to give that without me asserting myself, it's just going to sound like, it's going to feel, rough. But you got to learn. Okay, that's all right. You got to learn. I'm here to teach you. That's it.
Right.
Now you know.
And that's it.
And just because you open doors, it's simple. It is. It's just because you open doors doesn't mean you're a man. My dad always says to me, every man is a male, but every male is not a man.
Not a man at all. And I say that before my children's father passed, he just became a man, and he was 39. So it's no age on it. You just kind of know it when you see it. Women, and the biggest misconception is that women aren't men, so we don't know what a man looks like. I'm gonna tell you, I know what a man looks like.
Yes.
I don't know why they say that. You're not a man. I do know, because I'm a woman, and that's what my femininity craves. So I know what's acceptable. But according to them, it's like a lot of little boys out here. We're like in Neverland, and they just so lot to deal with when it comes to us and being strong and the position that we're in society as Black women. It is very difficult to show that empathy towards their lack of understanding, as well as going out here and getting the job done, It's like a dance. It's a balance. Hopefully, you know, it gets better, like with more understanding, especially right now with the you know, the light being shined on our community and all of the stuff that we have to deal with. That's a big issue, you know. So hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, hopefully. And that is why it was so important for me to sit down with you, because I think the way that it starts for us, especially black women, is to support each other. Plain and simple. To be there for each other and to intercede for each other, because like I was saying, some of us don't have it together and some of us have it together a little further, and all of us want a better life. We all want it, and we all need that support from each other. We all know how each other feel. You know, we don't have to have the same exact experience, but we all know how each other feels about how we're seen and how we're treated. The best person to treat us kindly is each other first. Right.
Yeah, we can start there
and be there for each other. So, all right, we coming to the close of the podcast. I always ask 3 insightful questions, or I hope they're insightful, and I have you answer. So, you ready?
Yes.
First question is, how do you find joy in your life?
Okay. I find joy when I kind of can escape my responsibility, and I do that by like playing my violin. That's something I'm getting back into. I hope that I can get a teacher the next step. But playing my violin, spending time with my daughter, having that girl time, educating myself. I'm starting to read more, so that's making me happy.
Oh, yes. That's important. That's very important. That's something that really helps me, too. Finding joy in my life, for me, I get to know myself more and more. I am intentional about getting to know who I am and getting to know how I tick, and intentional about staying close to my peak. That's how I find joy in my life. Okay, so the second question. How do you embrace the now? This is good for right now with this daggone coat. How do you embrace it now?
How do I embrace it? I just try to stay productive. Every day I try to accomplish something that's going to benefit me. Whether it's not in the moment, I feel like I plant the seeds every day. Try to plant at least one. So that's why I'm excited. By December, you know, I'll just be just like how when I started 6 months ago, I was a different person. Hopefully in December, that's my birthday month. Like, I'll just be a completely different person.
Absolutely. How do I embrace it now? I do this. I do the podcast. The way I'm embracing it now is doing this. You know, my father, I think it was my father who said it. He said, you know, there's always a war somewhere, but everybody isn't a soldier. Doesn't mean you have to go out and walk on in the Black Lives Matters protest. That doesn't mean that you don't care about Black lives and that you're not a part of it. Inspiring others through video when they come back from the protest to help them decompress, to go back out to fight the next day is part of the movement. You know, doing different things. It could be a war, but everybody's not a soldier, and everybody's out on the front line. So that helped me understand how I can embrace, like, you know, the now. What do I do? I just be myself and stay in my lane, and that is going to make a difference for now. Okay, so last question. I feel at peace when?
Still working on that one. I feel at peace when, I want to say when I'm receiving the love from people that I'm putting out. It's a warm feeling, and I feel like literally full. I don't need anything else in that moment but that back and forth of gratitude and just love. The love that I'm getting, I'm just so inspired. I feel full.
I like that. I feel at peace when I'm laughing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know if I'm a very serious person, but like I said, I'm an introvert, and I think I overthink a lot. So when I can just sit down and laugh, I'm at peace. I'm having a good time. That was good. That was good. I hope that this podcast can inspire young women and make a difference, and just be of the positivity come for your channel, for my channel, and for the other channels that are around that are like it. And I really thank you for joining me on my podcast. So just let people know where they can find you and things that they get from you. Thank you.
You can find me at KianaVision on YouTube. You can also go to my Instagram at KianaVision, my business page at Fast and Affordable Braids, And you can expect just to hopefully see me grow a little bit. And I just want to encourage you guys to search for positive things on YouTube. You know, the internet and social media can be very negative. Trust me, I know. But when you go on YouTube, there is a community of people that are putting out great content, you know. And so just try to keep your head up, stay positive, because, you know, having peace and being happy is just as important as making money. So chase peace.
That's right. That's right. And everything will follow. That's right. Well, thank you. And I'll see you guys on the next podcast. All right?